Ready to start, folks.
You are live.
A motion and a second to open the meeting. Joe makes the motion. Since the second, and all those in favor of the call. Please start. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to turn that off.
It's probably a good idea. Yeah, you just pull the plug.
I remember.
Can I get your name?
All right, we're looking at the previous minutes from June 23rd. All right, if there's no questions and concerns, motion, and a second to approve them. Jim makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? All right, minutes passed. Financials? Any questions or concerns?
How are we on budget so far?
Being fine. Okay, all right? I'm watching water and sewer things because we got a lot of salaries going on over there. That one I'm talking, those two I'm talking very carefully, okay? So,
I do have one question.
yeah,
How come we're carrying almost $10,000 in trust and agency every month?
I'm gonna have to ask, okay, is Danielle Susie that question? Okay. I don't know if it should be that much, okay? Anything else? We'll somewhat come back, okay, to financials, just particular things. Concession payments, you can see, all right, those are way down, but we still have issues. And I think I'm just gonna write them a letter, all right, the last two people on the list that they need to think about, okay? Either letting the town take it over, or we might just have to seize it, because I don't think they can afford the payments. You know, in the last two ones, lots 137 and 248. The first two in 65 or 66, that's the litigation situation that hasn't been resolved yet. So that's why that stands there. Any other questions on the financials? Moving on, school bus garage lease agreement, okay, for 25-26. That's signed, sealed, and delivered. I signed it, okay, Denise signed it, okay, and it's for one payment in October for $27,000, like we had in the past. So that's a done deal. All right? Any questions on that? There is one little issue, okay, with the for 23-24, all right? Because that was, we were collecting payments under the previous lease agreement, and then by April, the board accepted $26,000, okay? So they were still short under that lease agreement, $1,003. So we've submitted a voucher to the school, but I anticipate that we'll be paid shortly on that. So there is that money out there, but clearly that's owed to us, and I expect the school to pay it. So that's back business, okay?
A question, because I've heard some stuff about Bluff's garage. Is it true there's a hole in the garage going outside?
I'm not aware of it, if there is,
All right.
I'm not aware of it.
And is there no heat there now?
Well, they don't need heat right now.
But is there heat there?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
heat, there's heat,
Okay,
there's heat.
Both propane burners work as though.
okay.
Yeah, well, there's trouble with one of them, that the furthest days away from the office area,
Okay.
okay? And we've had a problem with hot water. Okay, so, we're working on that,
Okay.
okay? All right, St. Regis Falls Scenic Campsite, okay? We've been very busy, all right? Thanks to the help from the highway department, all right? We bought a lot of 12-footer 4x4 posts that were cut in half. So new posts were put in for the electrical outlets that the campers use and for the water supply. So a lot of the posts were rotting, okay? So those posts have been replaced thanks to Roger and his men. And of course, John Dufresne was involved in that too, because things had to be disconnected from the old posts, and then when the new posts were placed in, okay, then everything had to be reattached. So trying to make improvements in the campground. And another thing, we have a volunteer, okay, and he happens to be here tonight, Mr. Santor, all right? He has repaired, okay, according to John, 7 fireplaces. So we're buying the concrete cement mix, all right? And then this gentleman has been slowly repairing some of our fireplaces. And you repaired some last camping year too, correct?
Repaired a couple of one with the mill pavilion. We repaired that one. No, they're not the best, but at least it's what I'm using is concrete, which is quite fast and it's very strong. I don't think it's gonna have trouble for years. So
Thank you.
I plan to do more next year with them. I've been talking to John, especially the ones for the cabins. I plan to do that, something for me to do if I'm up here, 'cause I'm not doing nothing, I stay up here, down here. So I'm just kind of volunteering to help out and make that campsite go on for years. We're all gone. And, there's one thing I've noticed, you've had metal, extra green metal. I would suggest the shop has got a metal roof on it, but I don't think it was ever prepared properly. And it could be painted again. Instead of taking aluminum coating and coating it that way, is pressure wash it. Take 30% vinegar. This way it etches the metal that is bare, and then you respray it, because that 5-gallon fiber aluminum is very, very expensive. I think it'd be cheaper with a proper paint and just paint it, and it'd be good. I put some screws in it the other day, because they were coming loose in the one corner of it towards the fall. Just a matter of time for them to come along and picking it up. So I've been helping John with that a little bit, and that sort of thing.
So we thank you. We thank you for your efforts.
Well,
Okay,
I don't mind doing it if I take it on my own leisure and that sort of thing.
we thank you.
Didn't we purchase metal
Yes,
for one of those buildings?
It's all inside.
it's inside. For years, it was out where someone could steal it. It's all hanging, okay, inside the
And
workshop.
what building's that for?
It was for the workshop. Oh, there is aluminum roofing, which has never been put on. It's all green.
It's still pretty good shape, it's real good shape, it just need cosmetic work, it will give us more life, and I think the paint would be cheaper for you in the long run for that stuff. I don't know how many square feet in there, but you would have probably $500, $600 in aluminum for it, where paint would be probably maybe half, right? I've done a roof down where I was before I put my solar system in. So, I do have one other thing I want to mention to you.
Could you wait until public comments toward the end, sir? Could you? There's board and public comments toward the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Hold it for that, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Some more on the campground. All right, so the Department of Health last Friday came and reviewed our campsite, and I had reports here, okay? So, there were minor things that were found, all right? But then John Dufresne replaced them immediately, okay? So on site C-17, there was no backflow prevention device, all right? But then John had one and he installed it, so that was taken care of. The comments are, all electrical hookups have weather-tight seals. All electrical panels appear in adequate condition and are weather-tight. All camper sites have had their GFI outlets replaced within the last year. So, satisfaction with that. Then, they looked at the cabins, okay? There was a loose, okay, outlet cover that was corrected in the Everton cabin. There wasn't a surge protector, in one of the cabins, in the Hunter's home cabin, which was there to protect the refrigerator. So of course, a surge protector extension cord was placed in there and installed. So those minor violations were taken care of. He goes on to say, the following cabins have been seen during inspection. Old Guides, Fishermen, Hunter's Home, Rock Hill, St. Regis, Wilderness Home, and Everton. Fire safety plan reviewed. All smoke detectors tested to work. All fire extinguishers have a valid third-party inspection, and monthly quick checks are being documented on the tags. Reviewed proper wash, rinse, and sanitize procedures for cleaning dishware. So, all in all, we passed that general inspection, except for a few things, which were corrected immediately. Any questions on the campsite? All right, moving on, FEMA update, okay? So, based on all the cuts that occurred based on presidential orders, all right, FEMA has kind of been disorganized, okay? So they're finally, we have somebody here that's paying attention to the North Country, all right, and is organized and are going to help us file the rest of our paperwork to get our FEMA reimbursement. So they're getting their act together. So the national FEMA people are going to work with the Albany FEMA people to help us get our rest of our claims in. We did get a check from FEMA, our first check, all right, for the Shanley Road. It was $17,234.29. So that was placed, I think, in the highway account. And that was in early July. We received that. Any questions? Next town board meeting is Monday, August 25th, 6:30. So this afternoon, Joe Susi, myself, and Nadine Sosha interviewed two candidates to be assessor. We interviewed a Vern Brand and a John Stack. And our recommendation is to employ Vern Brand. He is currently, the assessor for Bombay. He's currently the assessor for Dickinson, all right? And we were impressed by his experience, all right? He had a friendly manner about him, all right? And we felt that he would be the best fit.
What is his last name?
Grand.
Brand,
Yeah,
B-R-A-N-D.
Oh, D, okay.
He covers Dickinson, Bombay, and what was the third one?
We will be the third one, okay? If we appoint.
Thank you.
So he clearly has lots of experience. His wife is also an assessor. Is there anything you want to add, Joe?
Well, I mean, he's an engineer and he's very enthusiastic. He really wants to do the job, versus, he cares, he wants to have something to do. Very motivated.
I talked with Sharon Smith in Dickinson, okay, and she's satisfied with the job. Any questions? So the magical thing is, how much does he want? Okay, so he's willing to, what we currently pay our assessor, $14,000. He'd be happy with $14,000. And Joe, I double checked that, it's $14,000.
Plus mileage or anything else?
That's an understanding of the contractual services, okay, that yes, he can put in mileage claims. When he's here in the district, moving around, and then from time to time, he will have to make deliveries of paperwork to the real property office in Malone, and then of course, there's mileage.
So what is our cap on contractual expenses for that? Under the old assessor,
We had $20,000 this year.
but that was his wages and.
No, we had 14 for wages, and then on the contractual expenses, we had 20, okay?
For the assessor?
All right. We also pay the BAR, okay, out of that too, okay? Since you're pinning me down,
I'm
there
just,
was extra there. There was extra there, okay? In case we decided we had to.
well, again, if somebody starts doing their job properly, I wanna make sure that there's enough money there to continue on if he starts traveling on the roads and doing his job
Right,
like
yeah,
David Burrow never did.
yeah. So there's plenty more,
Okay.
okay? I think Sherry Smith told me that he found for Dickinson another $1 million in assessment. Okay,
Don't surprise me a bit.
yeah, so that's what she told me. So, that's a pretty good thing.
Big chunk of revenue.
Yep,
It eases the tax burden on the rest of the people that were already paying for others that won't.
any other questions? As you can see later on, that's an action item, if the board chooses to appoint it. ARPA funding, okay, we're pretty much in the same, thing, all right? We have access to the portal and we're explaining to them how we spend the money. But I don't have very much time to spend on that, but it's still there. Any other questions? Video camera surveillance system, okay, Adirondack Tech okay? They're purchasing the equipment that they need, so they're basically staging the installation of these cameras. So they're basically in a preparation mode, so they can make their move. The one thing we're gonna pay big attention to, okay, is that, and this was made to Tim, and it was made to myself, when cameras go down into the campground, okay, and to the wastewater treatment plant, okay, we're gonna see improvement in the internet. So, hopefully we'll see that. Any questions there? All right, moving on, beach update. So, the inspector from the health department, he goes to the campground on Friday the 25th, and then he goes to the beach. And, no hazards, no violations were found. Comments, no violations noted. There is 2 new signs stating swimming is prohibited when there is no lifeguard on duty, and that swimming is prohibited outside their hours of operation. So those signs were actually put up last summer, but the inspector saw them for the first time. All life-saving equipment was available, emergency phone and first aid kit was available, beach safety plan and daily logs reviewed. So that's a pretty glowing report on our beach from the department. And we knew they were coming, okay, so we tried to get ready. Not in terms of cover up, but just to meet the standards. Any questions there? Next item, I'm asking the board to schedule a public hearing, which would be before the August 25th board meeting. This would be a public hearing to adopt a local law to override the tax cap for 2026. Many towns do this even a lot earlier. I know the town of Malone did it early this summer, okay? You pass this so that if you have to go above 2%, you have the law in your favor. So this is a preparatory situation to put us out there. However, I will be looking closely at the water, okay, taxes, okay, and the wastewater taxes. They have never been increased, okay, except for the normal 2%, okay. So
Actually, it wasn't. Last 4 years, it stayed at 0. Wasn't even.
you're right, it was 0, okay. It was like 16,500 or something, around that number. All right, so there was no percentages.
It's been 0 for years and years and years for an increase in water and sewer tax.
So that could happen, okay, as we move further down the line in the, okay, budgetary process for 2026. But we have to announce ahead of time, have a resolution, that we're having a special hearing in order to pass that law. And enclosed in your board packet was a notice that we would put in the free trader and put around town, that we would have this hearing, okay, on the 25th of August.
So you're gonna have it before the regular meeting?
Yes, we're gonna have this hearing on this law first, then we would have our regular meeting.
Okay.
Any questions on this? if you can see your notes, it's an action item as we get further through the agenda. Okay, closed landfill. On the Lake Lasonia Road, there's 2.5 acres where the town previously had its landfill. And so that was capped legally, all right? And according to the specs, okay, we have to mow it, all right, to keep the weeds and any possible trees from growing on it. Now, last year, in 2024, I never did it. And so when the engineers came to do their testing of the water, okay, they noted that it had to be chopped down. And they noted it in their report, okay? So I'm trying to be a good supervisor and get the thing mowed this year. So a notice was put out, okay, requesting quotes or bids to do this, okay? It was placed in the Free Trader and it was up around town. All right. So I have a quote from Lavoie's Lawn Care, all right? I had another inquiry, Dan Jeffrey from Constable called me and asked me questions. I sent him a topographical map of the area. So, because it is some on certain sides, because it's like a big mound, and so on certain sides, somewhat steep, all right? So, but I did send it to Lavoie too, topographical map, okay, showing the area, okay, it has to be known. Mr. Jeffrey never gave me a quote, so I just have one quote from the Lavoie's Lawn Care. So his quote's the bottom paragraph.
If you guys get a job there, you can run that job.
So Lavoie's Lawn Care has a quote for $2,000 to do the job. And that's the only quote I have at this point in time. Any questions? Petroleum bulk storage site, okay? I'm working with the school, okay, because we have to show joint ownership, and we show ownership of our tanks, and the school has to show ownership of their tanks, and then we submit this to the DEC. So we're working on that document, all right? And I've got to communicate a little bit more with the school about what they're doing about their gasoline tank that has to be removed. So that's an ongoing thing, okay, that I'm working with on the school. Any questions? So I got a couple of things to add, and this is really good news, okay? And some of you board members saw this when you signed your vouchers. All right, the 2022 AUD has been submitted to the controller's office and accepted. All right, so 2020 has been accomplished, 21, 22. So there's a good chance, all right, that we're working on 23. By the end of the year, we might have 23 and 24 all caught up. So it's good news on that front, that we're making progress. And, you know, this is a huge, like 40, 45 page document. So Danielle Susie puts it together, who works for Brandon Gray. So she submitted this, all right? And usually there's questions back. There was no questions. They accepted it, and she submitted it and approved it. So, that's even better, okay?
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So we're crawling closer to catching up on all that. All right, so let's talk about elections. So we have a unique situation. Jill, okay, is currently a council person, all right? And after this year, she has 3 more years, okay, on her term. However, she is the only one running for town clerk. So what happens on January 1st, 2026? She becomes town clerk, all right, and we have a vacancy as a council person. So there's 2 things that this board could do, all right? Leave the seat vacant, and then in the following election in 2026, the parties will put up candidates to fill that seat. Or we can poll, ask people who are interested and interview people. We can appoint someone, okay, in that position, right, until the next election. So those are the 2 choices that this board has on or about January 1st, 2026, with Jill's council seat.
That's a good one.
What?
There might be a grading contest.
You know, it could,
There could be.
but that would be in opposition to you.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's true.
There could also be an independent write-in for council seat.
Yes, there could.
I'm glad we're talking about this, but until November comes around and everything's settled. It's something to think about until then.
Yes. All right, moving on, okay. Water and sewer update, okay? So from time to time, you know, belts break, okay, new motors are needed. So particularly in the wastewater plant, okay, we're spending money on equipment, but it's because the equipment needs to be replaced. So we've been busy with that. Okay, there's still problems with the UV system, okay, so we're working with the contractor, okay, and the company that sold us to it, all right, and so that becomes an ongoing challenge for us. And our engineer, Aaron Tisdale, he's, Aaron Jarvis, excuse me, right, he's notified and is aware of the issues that we have there.
At this point, everything's covered under warranty as far as the UV system goes.
Yes, yes. All right, now, the situation with the wastewater and water treatment plant trainee part-time position. So working, okay, with, all right? The county personnel department, okay? I initially did a canvassing of 3, okay, candidates that were on the list in May. And I asked them, all right, told them about the job, call me if you have any questions. If you're not interested, email me. Nobody showed an interest and nobody emailed me back. So I had turned it over, the canvassing, okay, to the personnel department. A 4th person passed the test, so they're gonna canvass the 4 candidates. And hopefully, if 2 of those people turn the job down, and they're gonna have to respond to the personnel department, it didn't for me, but they gotta respond to them, all right? Then we would be free to ignore the list and hire our own person. So currently, they're doing the canvassing, the mailing went out today, and they have to return it by August 4th. We do have a candidate that's interested. But we gotta deal with personnel department first, and when we're free, then we can move ahead with candidate. So these emails, okay, with Franklin County Personnel Department to deal with the new canvassing. Just says that they sent out the canvassing, and they have 4 candidates have till August. It'll be August meeting to get that. Any questions? I know I covered a lot of stuff here, but there's a lot of things going on. There's no questions? All right, Roger.
You want me to just hand you my notes? You're doing good at talking. They need a break.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger, for continuing. Okay.
So we've been working on closing the Dexter Road sand pit. Our permit expired 2 years ago and nobody renewed it. Actually, it was 2022 it expired. So 20 years ago or so, we started reclaiming that pit. And I talked to the DEC last year when I met with them and the club owners up there. They want it closed up, finished. DEC wants it done. And we were supposed to start working on it last year, but the flood came, we had road issues, we had to address those, and the state understood that. So we've been taking all of our road ditching, our shoulder material, mixing it all together, and using it for a ground coverage up there. We hauled approximately 250 loads of material up and placed it. We still have about 50 more on site to be put up top and then graded out, and we should have most of the pit topsoil. It's just a matter of putting grass seed down. I actually met with the DEC pit inspectors today. We happened to be up the gravel pit when they come in for their annual inspection, and they were quite pleased with the progress, quite pleased with the updated permit on our gravel pit, and asked what our plan was for our Cookie Road pit, because the permit expires the end of this year, so we're in the process. I talked to Ernie today about getting proceedings done to get that up to date. The permits are generally good for 5 years. So those are big hurdles that are coming to close. we've been doing a lot of road work, changing culverts, shouldering. We paved supposedly next week. It'll be our third move date. But at this point, we're at the mercy of the batch plants and the paving crews, so. The 5th, we are paving, we're either gonna start the South River Road or the Lake Road, and they haven't determined yet. I haven't done a site meet with them, but we will be paving the week of the 4th and 5th, 6th on the South River Road and Lake Ozonie Road. And we still have to do about 100 ton on the top of the Stanley Road to finish that up. Any questions as far? So, I don't know if anybody going to the adult center had noticed that we developed a sinkhole in the parking lot over in the corner. So, after filling it in 3-4 times, and it gets bigger and bigger every time we fill it in, we took the time last week to dig it up. So, the pipe that goes from behind this building out to the DIs, there's 2 DIs, one in the corner of the building, one out in the parking lot, and then goes to the river for drainage, the water that comes from behind the store parking lot, all drained out through there. So the pipes have deteriorated. There's multiple different size pipes and different pipe textures. So there's Schedule 35, there's culvert, there's Schedule 35, there's culvert, and they're a ribbed culvert that's in there, not a smooth line, so they're very pliable. And over time, we quit using them like 20 years ago for the simple fact that they didn't hold up the frost, and the movement would actually crush them, break them, and they develop holes, and that's what happened out there. So we replaced a 20-foot section of it at this point, but probably next year, we're gonna have to dig the entire parking lot up and run a whole new line from the DI all the way out. I talked to Ernie about it, and that'll be under general fund because it's part of the building and parking lot. So we're gonna have to allocate some money for that. It's not a lot, but I'm pricing out Schedule 35 pipe to see if that's less money than culverts, because it's about 300 feet from that DI all the way up to the river. And we discussed it, and as long as general fund's willing to purchase the pipe required, the highway department does all the work, so it's the cheapest fix we can possibly do. I'd also like to get the board's permission to start seeking quotes to replace our tractor and mower. Our tractor and mower is very old. We did a lot of work to it last year to stop a bunch of oil leaks, get it where it's usable for the most part, but our 3-point hitch, the hydraulic pump is internal, and our 3-point hitch no longer has hydraulic pressure to pick the mower up, so we changed it in place. We still use a PTO to run the mower, and again, it was a mower we traded some stuff to Dickinson and got because it was better than our mower. But the tractor is old, and I'd like to start seeking quotes to replace the entire unit. I'm sure you can sell the mowers quite easily and the tractor as well, or trade it. I'm guessing, just from talking to the salesman, you're looking at about $100,000 to replace the tractor and the mower, ballpark. We haven't discussed trade-in or any of that. I haven't reached out to 4 or 5 different, it was just 2 different guys that, we had talked about renting a newer one to trim trees and stuff back, but I mean, that's $4,000 a week. So if we're gonna start doing something like that, we need to start looking at replacing what we have so we can do the job when we need to, instead of focusing week by week, because you can't do, I mean, it's about 3 weeks worth of mowing to do all our roads, what we have, let alone try and push the brush back. The smaller brush, we can do it with the brush hogs. Bigger trees need to be hand cut, it just looks better. I don't say we can't do it with a brush hog, it just looks better when you cut it close to the ground instead of having all the broken and marled up stumps and brush that's hanging there, like, you drive through other towns and you see that, and everybody's happy but sad at the same time because it's a mess for the first year or 2 until the brush is back in. With the board's permission, I'd like to seek some quotes on that. Any questions, any thoughts? Yeah,
When we do a motion and a second on that. Jim makes the motion,
And
Tim seconds
Michelle
it,
Bates,
see quotes.
Bates,
Who seconded it?
Tim,
Tim,
And
to seek quotes for the tractor and load. All those in favor?
So, one more thing. It takes almost 4 years to get a new truck. And the price is definitely gonna change from now until 4 years from now. But we'd also like to start getting bids on new trucks. This way we can keep improving the fleet that's there. I mean, we have the 03 that we're running right now, we got from Dickinson. We keep puttering with that and keep it going because it's a better truck than anything we've had. We've also got our brand new truck. And our 2019 is starting to rust out from lack of maintenance since it was new. So I would like to start getting bids and building new trucks so we have some kind of idea what we're looking at in the future. That's okay with the board as well. Because at some point, we're gonna have to start budgeting for another new truck. We can't just keep buying a truck and going 10 years and wanting, to purchase a truck, and it takes 4 years to get it, so. I mean, our newest truck will be 3 to 5 years old before we get the next new truck. That's already half its life expectancy. So if we wait 4 or 5 years and start the process, it's the end of its life, so then we're still running old stuff, trying to nickel and dime it together, and with the computers and the DEF systems that are in the newer diesels, it's a lot of maintenance. I'd like to.
So we'd be looking at paying for it now, for 4 years from now?
Well, I'd like to get quotes to see what we're looking at, but again, it's 3 to 4 years to get the truck, so they have to build it out, quote it, and they put they call it a slush on the price. I mean, it's gonna change from the time we order it to the time it's finally
Yeah.
delivered. But once we sign the contract, it's in bill, then we know the price. It may fluctuate $10,000, but at that point, it's pretty much a lock deal. But we need to know what we're looking at, whether it's $250,000, $350,000, $400,000. And then we can start budgeting for it, set money aside if we have to, or
Can we start budgeting already? Can you put, I don't understand budget for the town, but can you put money aside?
you can allocate it specific purposes.
Because
Yes,
that's
you
what
can.
I'd like to see, is just
Yep.
not coming up with all some,
Right.
we need it and we
Yeah, you
need.
can,
Right there with you. That's why I say if
250,000.
we can set 50 grand aside each year, or 75, whatever it may be,
create reserves.
Okay.
long-term sight, not today. Planning for the future.
That'd be a lot to figure out right now.
I mean, budget time's coming up, so if we're starting to look at quotes, we know what we're trying to budget for. We don't have to try and go to the bank and borrow overnight $300,000 when the truck finally comes in. I mean, our last truck was postponed and postponed and postponed. It was quite the job to get it here. I mean, even when we signed the first papers and got our interest quote, it still went up because it was months later before we finally signed the papers and the truck came in.
Yeah,
So if we don't have to pay the interest, we can set the money aside. It can build us interest. I don't say a lot, but it'll build us interest as the fund goes up every year. Then when the truck's ready, we have the majority of the money sitting there, if not all of it.
so we'll be looking at that as part of our process. So I want to say, Roger is an excellent businessman, and he takes care of business in the highway department. If you look at, there's a deposit in the highway fund in June, all right, on June 25th. We're not going to call it CHIPS money, all right? And so we have $38,348.38 because Roger followed the timeline and the rules okay? And we submit them in a timely manner, and we get these deposits, which under the budgetary system in New York State, we're entitled to. So, it's following the rules, and money's coming back to us. Very good, Roger.
That's pretty much all I got. Anybody got any questions or comments to me?
How's your pickup situation?
Mine's running perfect.
Dylan was in Woodbury.
Yeah. Again, equipment maintains the roads, pickups don't. As long as they are safe enough to drive, and we got one decent truck, Santa Clara donated it to us, so.
You get from point A to point B.
So the men have a safe vehicle to travel with. Once we know where we stand budgetary, and we're not depleted with funds every year, we can start looking into purchasing pickups, but at this point, it's not a priority. I'd rather keep going with equipment so we can maintain. And the other thought I had, depending on what we have left over for chips this year, potentially next spring, we may be able to take our mower, tractor mower, and submit it to chips. I can talk to Jared Bradley and make sure that's approvable. And if it is, it's, we can allocate the money and then get reimbursed for it. If something like the tractor and mower, we will definitely keep for more than 10 years. I mean, the last one's 40 years old. So. Okay, so it's just another avenue to look at instead of just putting a burden on the taxpayers. Might cost a little short paving one stretch of road per year, but long term, it would save us a lot of money and increase productivity. Anything else? You're up, Ernie.
Okay, so we're in action items, ladies and gentlemen. Possible approval of public hearing on August 25th, 2025 to adopt a local law to override the tax cap for 2026. Need a motion? Joe makes the motion. Cindy seconds it. All those in favor? So Debbie, did you see the one sheet there that is the motion that we're gonna have to publish?
You mean the one that you wrote?
Yes.
Where I saw it. It's right here on the action items. So I'll do a resolution and get it here to the office
Okay.
within the next couple of days.
Right. Because we have to, we will advertise that. If we could put that on the informal website too. All right. So that's a go. Thank you. Possible appointment of town assessor. So the recommendation is Vern Brand to be town assessor at an annual salary of $14,000. That starts September 1st of this year.
This year?
Yeah. Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? Motion passes. Possible approval of a contractor to mow the proposed landfill. The only quote that I have, okay, is from Lavoy Lawn Care for $2,000.
Now, does this area include all that area to the left? Where you drive down in,
Yes,
all the ditches and everything they're gonna mow?
well, the ditches are all rocks, okay?
Those
So
going
above
in.
the ditches, because I went out to look, you can still see those rocks. So everything above those rocks is what he's gonna chop down. And he'll have to, and then probably weed whack the road that's back there, because I'm sure that's full of weeds too. So he'll have to work his way through the gate and through the road and go around the back and then mow it.
We've also got trees to cut down, that have started growing around the cones, the vents.
Yeah.
Small saplings, but
Uh,
it's a lot of.
him and I walked it, okay, so he has a topographical map of the place, plus we walked it, okay? I didn't see any small trees around the vents, but there's 10 vents, all right, and so, I inspect every one of them, all right? Mostly it's tall.
I drive by it every day, I know just about every blade of grass that's there.
There is some trees between the rocks, okay, the boulders along the side of the road, okay, in one spot, there's some trees that have to be chopped there.
And they're gonna take care of that.
Joe makes the motion. Cindy seconds it. All those in favor?
Do we need a motion to seek quotes on a new truck? Danny?
Yeah, let's make a motion there. We make a motion so Roger can look for quotes for a brand new dump truck plow. Joe makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Motion
Who
passed.
seconded it? Tim?
Tim,
We're gonna have to change one of you guys' names. It always sounds the same.
well, the fan's on too. so.
Yeah, couldn't hear Roger tonight, so
Perfect.
I'm hoping to take picture of.
Public and board
Call
comments.
me JB.
There you go.
JB.
Yeah, on the corner of the shop, there's two, trees, I won't mention to you. They're ash, they're dead. One of them comes down, the one over there that's been hit by a camper. And we could take out the corner of the shop. They're a hazard. If it's, somewhere down in the near future, they're gonna hope to see something done with them. Now, my son is on C6, I'm on C7. C6, he's planning on moving it out, he's gonna talk to John, because he don't wanna take it down, he's gonna probably take it from winter storage. Move it down to the center, but he's gonna talk to John on that. If they'll get a truck in there better. Mine's gonna be a little bit harder, I'm leaving, end of next month. So I'm not gonna be able to move that, and my son won't wanna move it, and I got a deck right there. And you've probably seen it, but, I just wanna mention it to you, and I hope something is done before that lid comes down. It's big enough to, it's a hazard, you know, as they age, you don't know if an ice storm's gonna bring it or whatever, but it's a concern of mine, and I just wanna bring it to your attention.
And you're right, okay, these trees have to come down. They
I
have to
don't,
come down.
I don't know if a bucket truck comes in, I don't know, probably the proper way of taking it down, and then most of it, once that one then is taken down, you probably fall down, because they're leaning that way anyway. So you can ram it down pretty easy, and somebody can cut the wood up, take it, or give it to John to sell for it, make some money on that. The ash is quite nice to burn, for the fireplace.
Earlier this summer, okay, an environmental group asked if they could put up, it's a blue trap, emerald ash borer, okay? So they came back and took the trap down, they're here. Okay, they're here. So that's why those ash trees are trying to get, and emerald ash borers are not either.
Well, when we moved our camper in there, I saw two of the beetles when I was moving in, and I killed them. They're still, that one right next to the road, it's got a limb in it too. Take a look at it, it's dead. It's gonna, eventually that tree's gonna have to come down too, they're gonna get that tree too.
Yeah,
I talked to the conservation, the two girls that come in and checked it. They're not really trapped, they're just trying to monitor the beetle, what they're doing. To see if they had a few in their little trap.
yeah. Yeah, so we have to take care of that, you're right. Anybody else?
As, that, landfill mowing, what's it been, about 4 years? I think your son did it,
We did it the first time.
it's,
Jared, I used the
Jared.
trimmer.
yeah, that's the last I remember.
Overhill did it a couple times after that.
Overhill did it a couple times.
I don't know what Jared got paid. I don't know what.
500,
Jared got paid.
Jared got by.
500.
Yep. Is this 2,000 because it hasn't been mowed in about 2 or 3 years?
When I worked here, I used to take a tractor and mow everything, that road going down there, and then to the left, and then the road going back. But I didn't put the tractor on the hill because Jack said it was too heavy with a piece of machinery, because he didn't want to, there's a liner, and he didn't want to expose that if the tractor slid. I'm not sure how far underneath the top of the ground it is. It's inches or a foot or.
Only 6-8 inches of soil over the top of that liner, it's only treated for so many pounds per square foot, so.
So he said it had to be a small machine that mowed it. I don't know what they got.
He's got a small machine. He's coming with a small machine.
First, the office for the clerk, once that changes, have we moved forward with the location yet?
Well, I was gonna kind of talk with Jill,
Okay.
okay? You want an office here or you
I can
at
do it at the house.
the house? Okay,
So it'll be at nights.
so we get the conversion that way. And believe me, that's easier than trying to find
Yeah.
space here, okay? That's your call.
Now, I do have a question, when Deb's done and somebody else takes over, whether it be Jill or an independent, do we have to do any accountability as the filing cabinets and files are moved from your
The
place?
town usually moves everything, and I was just telling her, in September, I'm having an addition put downstairs, or bedroom.
Mhm.
So I want to get that desk out of there then, so I can bring my own desk down. So sometime in September, I would like at least the desk taken up there, and then in December, the file cabinets. It's all you got, it's a big desk.
But do we have to document everything that's taken out, Deb? No? Okay.
No, the town just came and, yeah, just come and get it.
Would be included in the annual inventory.
Pardon?
It would be included in the annual inventory.
Yeah, when she fills out what she has, she'll put the desk and 2 file cabinets and then a bunch of little stuff that we have.
And it's reported what is disposed of or whatever's kept.
So she's gonna show you what's in the big safe in my office. There's records there.
She's got lots to learn.
Thanks.
But it's good because we can get started now. When I got it, I was just
Throw them,
thrown at me and that was it.
sink or swim.
On, the new assessor, did you talk to him about doing a revaluation? You mentioned that to him,
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
what was his,
He quoted us what he would charge us, okay?
Yeah,
And it was like $40.
yeah, 35, 40.
well, that's part of the,
The collection had.
it's part of his job, isn't it? It's the data collectors are the ones that go out and get the information. I don't remember, the last, revaluation of, an increase for Pan Slope, do you remember? I think it was mostly the data collectors, he has to put that information into the
The
system.
system.
And we had 2 people hired to do all that collecting.
Right.
And Burl was just wanted to do the input.
That's all we can do.
Right?
Yeah,
Did he do a reeval? Did
No.
Bill do a reeval?
No.
He didn't.
No, but we had the fund there, that's what we had drawn off of.
Right.
That may be 1,000 plus.
And they took the training to it already, didn't they? I think that Bruce was one of
They were
those.
ready to.
They were ready to, I don't think they did.
No, right, without.
And one of them has moved out anyway. They don't live here anymore.
But is the board considering a revaluation?
For sure.
They should, I mean,
They
it's
should.
been,
It's been a while.
We talked about it with both candidates.
So, I mean, we have to get bids and all that.
how much of that 30,000 that was put into the budget for revaluation is left? Is there any?
There's
Is
money,
there,
there's money back.
it's been, money's been taken out of there about 3 or 4 times.
Yes, yes, there has been, okay? There were some transfers taken out. There's still money there.
And, for the next meeting, Don Keen isn't here tonight, so, on the cemetery. We've talked about that at 2 meetings now about, coming up with some rules and stuff. And, I'd like to, be put on, the agenda next time to discuss the
Very good,
cemetery.
very good.
I got one other thing. The dump down here on the left, they're cleaning up. You go down, 2 houses down, there's another dump started. This guy has got, I don't know, he filled up one dumpster. He's got enough there for another one.
They've been hauling out of there with a trailer for the last couple of days. Somebody with a pickup and a trailer has been loading
Yeah.
up and hauling.
But he's cleaning it up.
He's cleaning it up and
And,
speeding all the way.
and it didn't get like that overnight. It's just like this place that's starting down below. It's not, it's gonna just look just like this other place if you let it go.
Which
So,
other place are you talking about?
After Top Clark's.
Oh,
On the
yes,
Karen's old place.
yes,
Did Karen sell them that? Or
Yeah.
did
yes,
Karen, all right, so there's new owners.
yes.
Plus they're infringing on the law.
Yeah.
Between
Next
theirs
door, right.
and Sharon's.
They're not on Sharon's, they're on that.
Yeah,
they're
but
on
the
that-
lot in
That
between.
lot goes all pretty much close to that house. That lot,
Who,
that
who
big
owns
lot.
that lot?
They bought it at auction,
Oh,
And they were gonna do something with it, which they never
they were
did.
gonna put trailers.
Yeah.
Have a trailer around it.
That was the original intention, I remember. But it
So they
wasn't
found
done.
out there's a house buried on the back and there's lead in the front, so they can't do much. with it. So,
I'll send Bruce over. I'll send Bruce over to the new place.
Yeah, because that did a lot of good up on High Street.
yeah,
Have we heard anything, the outcome of that?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard anything about High Street.
The last I heard, it was supposed to be transferred from Waverly to Dickinson because there was a conflict related to the judge. All the tickets and violations.
Right,
And I haven't heard, we haven't heard anything
I haven't
since.
heard anything.
Does a lot of good to rate tickets if nobody enforces them.
Anybody else? All right, possible vote to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining issues.
To discuss what?
Collective bargaining issues. Any motion? Cindy, Jill, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Lawrence,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
You didn't put one job at me today. I'm so happy, thank you.
Should I have?
No, I'm just- Apparently I'm doing something right.
I'll remember that.
You gotta find something, Lawrence.
Okay.
But we really can't do anything until we get civil
Yeah,
service. over.
Shovel of
But
all.
I have people here to get, okay? Where's the quote to do the right?
Whenever you have any information on
One of the
any
things that maybe we
getting,
should do
you could give it to
is
me.
have a section